Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about design and specifically how I study design. And what I want to do in this video is I want to go through some of the artists that influenced me, heavily influenced me. And I want to walk you through what I see when I look at their work and what I would do to study and improve my design skills from studying their work. So I will walk you through my thought process and my observation process. So you'll learn what I see when I look at great figure drawings, and you'll learn the process that I go through to improve my own design and figure drawing skills. So thank you for joining me wherever you are. I appreciate you. And before we begin, I just wanted to shout out my website here. Go to www.drawwithchris.com, and here I have a lot of free resources on figure drawing, design. I have references, and I've also started to write very detailed articles again. So if you like my work and you want to learn more about figure drawing, go to my website at www.drawwithchris.com and make sure to sign up for my free email newsletter. You'll get some of my best lessons and writings directly to your email inbox absolutely for free. So thank you. And I also wanted to mention that if you like my work and you want to learn from me in person, I'm having a live workshop this coming March 28th through 30th in Germany. So this is going to be my first time in Europe. So shout out to my European readers and viewers here. This is by the good folks at Freehand Atelier, and it's going to be a 3-day workshop. So I'm going to cover design in depth, both figure drawing, head drawing, and you're going to learn directly from me, which I believe is the fastest way to improve. That's how I got good very fast, and how I turned pro very, very quickly with by learning directly from the master. So go to www.freehand.atelier.de to learn more about the class, and that's March 28th through 30th. Should I go this way? Maybe this way's better. Yeah, maybe this way's better. Or is this way better? Oh, this way's better. Let's do this. This is better. Okay, so the one of my biggest influences and one of the persons I learned the most about figure drawing was Peter Paul Rubens. Comment below if you are a Rubens fan. In my opinion, Rubens is a master of figure design. So he's known for these big, grand pieces. This is one of Rubens' drawings here. One of his famous pieces is Descent from the Cross. It's actually a triptych. There's two more of these. So he's very famous for these big, grand scale, religious type pieces. Wonderful, sweeping compositions with beautiful figures. And that's what I love about him, is that his figures actually are constantly in motion. So for me, let me just jot this down so you kind of see what I'm thinking. So when I think of Rubens' figure, the number one thing I see is design for movement. His things are constantly in motion. Also, he's fantastic for what I call linear design. Anyway, this is all linear design. That's what he's the master of. And in linear design, it's flow and rhythm. Oops, rhythm. That's rhythm. R-H-T. I can spell, I swear, I wrote 2 books. He's also a master of communicating form through line, and that's also position. So 3D position. We'll talk about that in a minute. And he's also a master of suggesting detail. And this is fantastic. He's able to suggest detail with line alone. So when I want to improve my figure drawing in terms of how to draw a figure properly, construction, movement, not so much proportion, but more suggestion of detail. But this is the man. Peter Paul Rubens is my guy. And if you figures are flat, he's a master of movement. So if your figures are flat, I would highly encourage you to also study Rubens. So let's take a quick look at Rubens. And we'll see how far we can get. So here's a couple examples of his work here. As we saw, gorgeous pieces here. You can just see the clear intention in the details, and I'll go through a piece here in detail so you can see what I see. This one right here. So this is a very simple figure drawing. Let's see if we can bring this into Procreate. Okay, we can. Okay, let's open that up. There we go. So we're in the Procreates now. Let's see, is it better this way? No, it's better this way. So, design and movement. So overall, if we look at cover sheet on there. Okay, so if we look at this figure in terms of movement, so the first thing I see is his figures are constantly in motion, and we can see that there's a clear, singular, dominant motion. Whoop, you see that? From the finger all the way to the toe. So I always talk about finger to toe, head to toe, or end to end, top to bottom. Look at that. Whoop. You see how obvious that is? Let me hide that so you can see it. You see the hand here. Oops. You see the hand here. And you see the beautiful contour, you see the highlight, you see the contour, the core shadow, you see this kind of shape, which is anatomy. He's designing anatomy. So that's all going boop, 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 down, the contour, the curve, the curve. So he's basically screaming at you, hey, move, move, move. And that's what he does very well. He just keeps hitting you on the head with where he wants your eye to go. So constant movement, that's the primary movement. And not just the whole figure. Of course, the whole figure needs to have movement, but each form has its own movement. So look at this. So we have the whole movement, oops, head to toe, whoop, head to toe. And then we have secondary movements. Such as the arm clearly is going its own way. The torso is clearly going its own way. Look at this other arm, clearly has a clear direction. This leg, back leg, has a clear direction, and it clearly changes direction. You see that? This leg clearly comes forward and to the left and forward towards us. Look at how he draws the highlight to reinforce that forward movement, and then it, boom, draws a hard corner, changes direction down. So everything, the whole thing has a movement, and each little piece has movement. Even the face. The face is moving kind of downwards, looking downwards. The head is positioned downwards, looking downwards. So movement, 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 movement. This is what I see. And this is the genius of Rubens too. Not only does he do, well, he does pictorial design very well, obviously, but not only does he do movement along the form, that's what Steve Houston calls it, along the form, but his figures actually move over. They move in 3D Z space. So Z space, Z space, or 3D space. His things actually move up and over each form, and I'll show you what I see. So he has movement along the form and in 3D over the form, over. This is something that Steve Houston talks about all the time. So let's look at the torso. The torso is the biggest mass of the body. Look at this line here, contour line, pinch, right? We all know stretch and pinch, but look at how he draws the pinch. Whoop! He goes going this way. And then he draws this thing kind of going this way, slightly this way. And he puts a little corner right here. And then we need stuff in the middle. So what does he do? Does he just randomly draw abs? Of course not. He'll design his abs in a subtle way. You see that? There's even a little nugget of detail there. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and what that does is this. See, over the torso. He'll do it at the chest. Follow this line here. There's a break. That's that corner's a point. There's a little design nugget here of anatomy, suggested anatomy. Boom. There's a little nugget here. Boom. And then there's a corner here. Boom. Or you can go to this corner and that corner of the core shadow. So boom, boom. It goes to a couple different places. That's ideal. You don't want it to just go to one place. You want it to go in and out towards something else. He does that masterfully. Obviously, I can talk about this. I can talk about Rubens' design for 5 hours, but I'm just going to go through very quickly. Going over the form. The thigh is brilliant. Look at this thigh. We need to communicate over the form, right? His movement is excellent. We all see that. But how do we make the thigh feel round? So check this out. So many places. Right here, you see, hard accent, corner, so that's a spot. Subtle anatomy suggestion there with a subtle bit of tone. Goes up and over. Accent corner, overlap here. And then a little piece of highlight right there. So subtle tone, highlight, accent overlap, subtle tone to highlight. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. What about in the middle? Highlight, another highlight, little subtle light accent, hard corner, hard edge corner, corner, overlap, corner, subtle overlap. Boom, 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 boom. You see? Boom, 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 boom. That, my friends, is design. None of this is accidental. And none of this is accidental. So, if you are watching this and you ever think, oh my God, my figures look so flat and stiff. Why, Chris? I try to draw like you. I try to draw like Steve Houston, but my figures look so flat, Chris. Why? It's because you're not going over the form. You're not going over the form. So look towards Rubens, and we'll do a quick study as well. Another thing I love Rubens for is position. He'll communicate the position, and we briefly covered that with the leg. What is the position? So the position means everything that every form occupies 3D space. So position is the illusion of 3D. What do I mean by position? Position equals illusion of 3D form, and we can do this with line. Rubens does it with line. Line is just one way. We could also do it with tone. So how does he communicate the position? Let's start with the torso again. So the first thing we need for the torso is we need the center line. So let's look at this little nugget here. So that is a cast shadow, and that cast shadow has a specific shape. You see how it comes to a point? He also reinforces it with highlight. So all of that comes to a point. What he's trying to tell you is, hey, this is the center line of the chest. Hey, this is center line of the chest. Hey, this is center line of the chest. He's screaming at you, and then he's saying, hey, this is center line of the rib, center line of the abdomen, and then this is leading towards the genitalia. You see all of this stuff and this highlight here, and it's obvious, as most people who are lay people even know that this is the natural rhythms and lines leading towards the genitalia. So what he's saying is this part of this thing is positioned this way. And then this other thing right below it is positioned this way. And he leads you with line. So he's using the center line design to communicate the position of two of the most important forms in the human body, the rib cage and the torso. That, my friends, is the game. That's what we want. One more. Let's look at this arm. We know that this arm must read like a cylinder in a specific position in 3D space, or else it won't look 3D, right? How does he do that? How does he do that? Well, so we can see the contour of the cylinder, but we know this one is going in this way, and then this one is going slightly away. And this is the crescendo, the peak, where the corner, where this forms change direction. So we have an elbow, we have an indent, we have a corner, and we probably have a corner here that I covered. So boop, 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 boop. So that is the corner, just like we saw. He's constantly drawing cross sections, is what Steve calls them, the cuts of a cylinder. So now, how does he show you what position this is compared to this? Well, here we go again. Contour, overlap, subtle tone, suggestion of detail, boom. So and then contour here or here. There's a corner there. So here, he's drawing a cross section. Here, there's a corner of that core shadow. Corner. There's not much here. There might be, but I covered it. I think there is. There's a little something there. And then there's a corner, and then there's a corner. So you see how he's drawing the box. Box, 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 box. He's basically drawing a roundish cylinder box. And then here, he does the exact opposite. So here, he'll go this way, this way. So there's a highlight here. This is the corner of the wrist that he's drawn. So here, there's not much information here. There's a subtle tone, so it looks like that. So you see the direction of these cross sections. They go like that. So you see, just like my little diagram. So he starts with the cross sections going this way. So the bulge is here, bulge, bulge, bulge. You see? And then he'll go this way with the peaks of the bulge. This way, this way, this way. You see? So you see the direction of the cross section changes the direction, changes your perception of this thing, and then your mind will immediately assume or draw a 3D form. So that is mastery, my friends. And one last thing is suggestion of detail. Rubens is a master of suggesting detail. Let's look at, maybe we'll look at another piece. Look at another piece. Let's see. Let's look at this one briefly. So another gorgeous narrative piece here by Rubens. Look at these gorgeous figures. And I just want to quickly show you how to suggest detail. Look at all of this gorgeous detail. Now, the untrained person will look at this and go, oh my God, he must have spent 2 months rendering every wrinkle, every vein, every muscle, every bone, every tendon. Oh, I can see every tendon and muscle. Oh, wow. Look at that gorgeous detail. But when I look at this, I go, nope, he's actually tricking you with subtle color, temperature changes, with subtle value changes, and subtle linear design. He's actually drawing certain things with soft tonal lines. He's not using hard lines, but he's actually drawing to suggest detail. Let's break it down real quick. Let's break it down. This is absolutely genius. I absolutely love this piece. Let's use red for now. So, when I first saw this, I was like, wow, this guy brilliantly drew the butt muscle and what's called the erector spinae. So there's these vertical muscles in your back. So what he did was he drew the butt, the hip muscle, I forgot what it's called, I think it's gluteus major, suggested the fat and tissue around the obliques and this muscle, and he leads you back up into the figure. You want to see how he did that? Check this out. So we have a glute here. We have a glute, so it's clearly a glute. Now, this line is obvious, right? That line is obvious. This contour line is kind of obvious, but a little bit subtle. See how it gets lost here? That's not an accident. He's like, yeah, I don't want you to look there. I want you to keep your eye here. So what he's going to do is he's going to bring you from here to here with this subtle tonal line. You see, subtle tonal line, boop. And you see that draws this part, right? So let's keep going. There's more. But he also goes up. So he goes from here out, but then he also goes up. And then there's, see that little bit of tone right there? What that does, and that little bit of highlight right there. So that's a highlight, that's a tone, and then he'll kind of do a subtle draw with a subtle bit of tone right here. So what he's drawing is essentially a tubular thing, which is the erector spinae. It's a muscle that keeps your upper body erect in the back. And you see how it all kind of naturally flows into the thing. So there you go, my friends. Look at that. You see that? All that gorgeous detail? All that is, he's just making subtle marks to show you what he wants you to see, which is form and anatomy and movement. It does 3 things at once. So that's why he's a master of design. It does many things at once. Remember what I said earlier? If you missed the first videos, make sure to review. Remember, to me, the core of design skills is to be able to say more or do more with less, to be able to do more with less, to draw more with less, to communicate more with less. And that's what we're doing here. In this little subtle drawing with color, he's able to communicate many things: anatomy, light and shadow, gesture and movement, form, cylinder form. Fantastic. And here's one more in this painting that'll blow your mind. I just saw this just as I'm talking about it now. So do you guys see this thing right there? That little subtle dark shadow shape accent? Let's draw that. And if we follow that, you're like, what is that, Chris? Well, part of it is trapezius muscle, but part of it is two things. One is the lat. So the lat is a big back muscle. It kind of looks like that. So he's drawing the bottom of the lat. He's drawing the bottom of the rib cage. And he's leading your eye up. So he's doing three things with one little nugget. One little nugget of detail or information is communicating three things. Do you see that? It's communicating the anatomy of the lat muscle. It's communicating the position of the rib. There's four things, actually. The position of the rib cage. He's communicating a subtle indication of another piece of anatomy, the trapezius. And he's moving your eye up, over, and around, all at the same time. That, my friend, is the ticket. This is the game right here, you see? Moving your eye, moving your eye, moving your eye, moving your eye, suggesting many pieces of anatomy and showing the position of the form. That's the ticket, my friends. So that's what I see. That's a long explanation. Let's do a quick study and we'll end the video with this. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. That one's so beautiful. Let's do Descent from the Cross. I love this painting so much. Let's see if we can bring it into Procreates here. Okay, so I want to write some notes on there. Descent from the Cross, my friends. Comment below if you have ever seen a Rubens in person. Comment below. Have you ever seen a Rubens in person? I was very blessed to have seen many Rubens in person in Florida. Shout out to any Americans watching from Florida. Maybe you've been to the Ringling Museum in Florida, in America. I believe they have the largest collection of Rubens outside of Europe, I believe. Sorry for the noise here. I'm trying to find my pencil. Okay. All right, so when I study figure drawing, I have an intention in mind. Oops, can you see that? Intention or goal. So that's number one. So have a goal. Don't just go, oh, today I'm just gonna draw a copy. No. We don't do that. That's the whole point of this video and this series is we don't want to copy anymore. We want to be thinkers. We want to be designers. So we have to have an intention or goal. Just like when we draw a figure, you want to have a story in mind. So my intention and goal, because I love Rubens, I want to learn linear design. I want to learn linear design. That's my goal. And that means movement, rhythm, which is the same thing essentially, movement, rhythm, suggesting form and detail with line. Movement, basically everything we talked about earlier, so make sure to review that. So let's go, my friends. Let's check out how we can do this. So when we see the beautiful figure of the Christ here, clearly there's a whoosh. Oh, I would also treat, whenever you do a Rubens, particularly Rubens, pretend like you are drawing a figure. It's a real model. So that's important. I like to pretend when I look at a figure that I'm going to study, like this Rubens, I just pretend like this is a real person. It's not a painting, it's a real person. So that kind of helps me to, because I like life drawing, of course, obviously. That's why I wrote a book on it. So that's clearly the movement. It's called Descent from the Cross. It's a movement from top to bottom, really. He's going down. So already I go, oh wow, look how powerfully he did that. I'm going to copy that. So he's already done that. We got this kind of thing going here. Wow, look at that twist or that bend in the torso. So already I'm like, wow, that is cool. That is cool. Man, Rubens is awesome. So you see? Very nice. So now when you, if you've seen me do figure drawing demos, you'll see this is how I draw figures anyway. Just whoosh, lots of long lines. A lot of that is influenced by Steve Houston and Rubens. Oh, let's see. So we got this. It's going to drop in his head here because I want to get to that beautiful upper shoulder. His shoulder is so cool. So I'm just going to, what I want to do is now I'm just going to draw the figure as if it was a model. So I need a bit of accuracy here. So just like I'm doing a quick sketch from real life, I'm going to pretend like this is a real model, and I'll just do my best to get a nice accurate lay-in because I want to get to the cool movement and stuff that he does. This arm is incredible in my opinion. This arm right here, wow. When I saw that, this morning when I was looking at references to look at, I was like, holy cow, that is an incredible piece of design. Oh, sorry, can't see that. I'm just going to kind of go through quickly here as fast as I can because I want to get to the good stuff. I'm going to explain to you guys some of the good stuff that I see. Right now, I'm just figure drawing. I'm not thinking too much about design. Obviously, I know design, so I know what he's doing. But I just want to get a nice lay in here before we get to the details or I want to show you guys what makes this so brilliant and how you can use it in your own work. Already, I hope some of you are inspired by that initial whoosh. That is a wonderful way to improve your drawing right away. It's just by drawing with longer lines. Rubens, if you study Rubens, you will see how long his lines are. They actually go forever. If you really take a deep look at Rubens, he makes his lines go on forever and ever and ever. They're constantly moving. That's why his pieces are so incredible. And if you see them in person, they're gigantic. They're the size of walls. So imagine, imagine the impact they would have if you saw them in person. Sorry, I got a lot of construction lines, I know. I know some people don't like my construction lines. That's the way it is. Sorry. I I I I like them. It's just the way I draw. And the guys that I admired the most, Steve Houston and Sorrow, I learned it from them. So they draw, I draw like them, and they're pretty successful. So I'm gonna stick with that. I try to model the best. Oh, that cast shadow has a design to it. I'm not gonna do any rendering. I just need some information just so we can get started. Okay, the head's a little small. I can tell the head's a little small. Yeah, the head's a little small. That's ugly. We can't have that. Oh, actually, mine was right. Everything is too big. Okay, so actually, my drawing is right. I thought my head was too small, but it's actually pretty good. The chin is a little low, of course. This hair, this hair is not an accident. This is the first time I'm studying this drawing, and I'm seeing so many things like, oh, he designed that piece of hair. Oh, he designed that piece of beard. Oh, he designed that piece of tone. Oh, he designed that contour line. Oh, that's not an accident. I can look at this and go, none of this is an accident. He didn't just randomly come up here and go, oh, I'm gonna draw the neck this way just because. No, 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 no. He was thinking way ahead. And that's what we can learn from Rubens. Today, let's try this. All right, my friends. Let's start with the torso, and then we'll get to the arm, and that'll be a good stopping point. Let's look at the torso. So number one, contour design. Look at the contour of this torso. Look at these bumps. Now, at first glance, you may think, oh, wow, look at all that beautiful anatomy. But when I look at that, I go, oh, nope, he's suggesting something right here, this bump. He's suggesting the teres major, the wing. He's suggesting the bump of the ribcage bone and the lat. He's suggesting more bump of the ribcage itself, leading you in to draw that Z space. Remember, he also leads you over the form, not just around the form. Subtle quieting of the forms here. And then again, the lap or the lower abdomen leading to the hip. And then the contour. So look at that. Really nice and simple. And then he'll contrast it on the other side with more pinchy stuff. So this is a little too thick and ugly. You see right now, this is drawing too much attention because my lines are so heavy. You see his line is quite faint. That's an important thing too. You see how his line is very soft and thin here? It's not very aggressive. But here it's aggressive. It's like, accent, ghost. So that's also lighting. What he's doing is he's suggesting lighting, which is coming from the up and to the left. So with line work, with line control, my friends, he's suggesting form and light. Remember? See, this is just genius. This is incredible. This is the first time looking at this, and I'm going, man, this guy's a genius. No wonder he's so famous. Design is to say more with less. With line control, he's able to do form, position, anatomy, and light and shadow. You see, my friends? You see? You see how this right here, this shape right here that I'm drawing now, right here, this shape right here, this shape right here, you see how it goes down and it gets a little bit thicker, boom, and then it gets a little bit thinner again. And then it gets a little bit thicker, boom. And then a little bit thinner again. Wait, I'm lost here. Crap. Oh, I am kind of lost. Sorry. Okay, it's there. Thick and thin. So this is thick and thin in oil paint, my friends. Thick and thin is not just for comic books. Thick or thin is for mastery. So even those of you who paint are like, man, Chris, why my paintings look so flat? Maybe give this drawing a chance here. So the chest, there's a nipple here. You see that nipple? That nipple is not accidentally placed there. There's a little line that goes here to here. There's right there. So that there's a little nugget of tone right here. Right here. There's a little nugget of tone. It's blue, so it's a cool tone. It's going whoop. You see that? Whoop, whoop. It's going whoop. You see that? Boop, 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 boop. Whoop, whoop. So that nipple is not an accident, my friends. That's brilliant. And then a little bit of inner chest here. And then oh, excuse me. Case. Sorry. Someone came to my house. What else? Okay. So he's leading you over. Look at that beautiful fold. Leading you over, obviously. Fold, fold, fold. Beautiful suggestion of detail here. Suggestion of rib cage and detail here. It's all shape, design, and suggestion. So that's that. And then this is, notice how all the detail is suggested. He doesn't explicitly spend too much time on it, give it too much attention. It's there, of course, but it's not primary. And then, now let's get to the arm and we'll close with this. This is absolutely brilliant. So what does he do here? Cast shadow to draw. So that cast shadow shape is not an accident. He's drawing the bulge of the deltoid muscle. It's round. He's drawing, there's a little bit of hair. That's not an accident. That little bit of hair is not an accident. It goes like this, and then I'm exaggerating, then it leads down. See, it leads down here, here, here. So you see, that little nugget, my friends, is not an accident. That little nugget goes from here to here to here to here to here. And you see, shoo, shoo, shoo. He's moving you out. He's saying, yes, I want you to go this way, but I also reminding you to go this way. That is brilliant, my friends. So we should be, this is the whole point. One of the reasons why I wanted to make this series is because I've been teaching a long time, and over 10, 15 years now. And one of the things I see is that people who love to draw realistically, we love to draw details, myself included. But when people draw details, they don't think. They just go, oh, okay, I see a nipple, I'm going to draw a nipple. Oh, I see a fold in the skin, I'm going to draw a fold in the skin. Oh, I see a wrinkle in the fabric. Oh, I'm just going to copy what I see. Oh, I see hair, I just copy what I see. This, my friends, is a millimeter of a line, a centimeter line. But if it's not drawn correctly or not designed, if it's not designed, it will look terrible. It will kind of throw off a lot of the drawing, especially because it's close to the face. So this is what I mean, my friends, by having intention and thinking. the whole point of this series is I want to show anyone watching that um, that every mark, every detail, and every centimeter of line needs to have some thought put into it. So even the great Rubens, already rich and famous and successful, multi millionaire, one of the most powerful men alive when he was alive, even he was like, yeah, I'm going to put some thought in that little tiny detail. So let's get back to work here. So let's draw the core shadow of the shoulder to help draw the bulge. Emphasize in the shadow to show the crease, to show the corner. So that's a corner of the shoulder where it meets the tricep. The tricep. Core shadow of the tricep. Core shadow of the tricep. Corner of the tricep muscle. Corner of this bone tricep connection tendon thing here. Elbow bone, I think. Core shadow of the elbow bone. Core shadow of the elbow bone as it goes over and down. Core shadow of flexor muscles under the arm, core shadow of this thing, and then let's go to the contour, and I'll break down what I see, because this is so cool. When I saw this arm, I'm like, man, this guy is so cool, and I hope somebody watching this can have the same breakthrough that I had when I first understood Rubens. I was like, oh my God. I'm going to put that in all of my drawings too. Because, hey, if it's good enough for one of the most successful artists in history, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. And if you like my work, you like Steve Houston, he borrows a lot from these same principles. So let's talk about contour right here. Hard contour. You see that? That's a hard contour. Why? It shows tendon. So this is a tendinous connection. He's showing you anatomy and he's leading your eye, obviously. The curve of the bicep, not much going on there. But what I want you to pay attention to is this little nugget right here. This little nugget right here, it looks like just a piece of normal, insignificant detail. But my friends, what this does, this is so brilliant. What he's doing is he's drawing the position of the upper arm, my friends. Check this out. He needs the upper arm to go like this, to come at you. We need to be below this upper arm and above this lower arm, and I'll show you what I mean. He needs that. Remember the importance of drawing the cross sections? So watch this. This cast shadow is designed. That's the cast shadow of the shoulder muscle over the tricep. It's designed to go this way. There's a little bit of tone nugget here. There's a little bit of cool color here to draw. And then the finger draws the rest of the cylinder. So that's part one, boom. And now he has a little bit of tone here, which is in color. This is, the values are close together, but in temperature, he's making a little piece of nugget, a little blip of anatomy. And why does he need that? Because this line right here, again, is drawn this way for a reason. This is the middle, and then the side is right here. There's a little piece of the bicep right there. You see that corner? That's a hard corner. Boom, 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 boom. So you see how he drew the position of this arm? You see how he drew the position of this form? And then he drew the position of this form. And now we're going to draw the position of the forearm going in the opposite direction, away. So that's an easy one. Tone, tone, contour. Boom, 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 boom. Contour, bit of tone, contour on the other side. Boom, 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 boom. Same thing with the wrist. Tone, small details, shapes. That's magic, my friends. This arm is absolute genius and magic, my friends. If you're having trouble drawing dynamic figures, if your figures look stiff, if your figures look flat, if your anatomy doesn't make sense, and it looks very stiff and flat and makes no sense and is not attractive, I would suggest you look at Rubens, my friends. Watch this video again. Maybe that'd be helpful, as you can see what I see when I look at Rubens. And I hope this gives you some ideas on just how important it is to design every line, mark, tone, shape um, to get beautiful dynamic figures. So thank you for watching, my friends. And in the next video, we'll cover how I study design for faces. I really appreciate you. Before we go, I just want to shout out my website. If you like this video, you like my work, I have a lot of free figure drawing resources and design resources. I'm also writing a newsletter again, so you can get all of my best in-depth stuff. And if you're new to me, I'm not just a YouTube guy. I've been a professional for many, many years. I'm from Los Angeles. I work in movie posters now. I just did recently a Lord of the Rings campaign. I'm an author and I'm a teacher for New Masters. I wrote 2 books. And, all this stuff here I do in my professional work. I don't just make YouTube videos. And you can learn some of my best insights through my writings via my newsletter. So go to drawwithchris.com and you can subscribe. It's absolutely free. Check it out, my friends. And again, those of you, shout out to my European viewers. Anybody watching from Europe who likes my work and you're in the Europe area, or maybe you're in the Middle East. I'm doing my first workshop in Europe, March 28th through the 30th, in Cologne, Germany. Thank you to the folks at Freehand Atelier. So if you want to learn more about my workshop, you want to learn from me in person, go to freehand.atelier.de, and then you can check out the information and register for my live workshop in Germany, March 28th. So thank you, my friends. Make sure to come back for the next video. We'll do this exact same thing, but with some of my favorite portrait artists. Thank you, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.